It is my absolute pleasure to be joined today by author Malik Abdul-Khalik. He is the author of the newly released book, Sanguine Threads, a novel. And so, Malik, tell us about this book.
Thank you very much, Stacey, for having me. Well, I approached this book. This book is an extension, if you will, of a short story that I had written probably about 4 years ago. And it followed the travails and tribulations and experiences of the protagonist, Ashley. She's involved in this particular book also. She's one of the two primary protagonists, Ashley, and the other protagonist, her name is Deidre. So, like I said, this follows the original travails of this individual 4 years ago when she was a junior and she was involved in an academic triathlon. I'm sharing this because she does have a backstory. However, when one approaches Sanguine Threads, they don't need to know this backstory at all. I'm sharing with respect to how Ashley came out of, she didn't come out of the ethereal, didn't come out of a vacuum, but I put more flesh on her skeleton, if you will. So, how I originally conceived of this idea is an extension of Ashley into her college tenure, as well as an exploration of the duality of personality and identity.
Interesting. Okay, I'm intrigued. So, what was that point of inspiration? Like, what was your main inspiration for writing this book?
My primary inspiration about writing this book is I'm a traveler. Another hat that I wear is I'm a professor of ethnic studies. I love people and I love studying people in their lands of origin. So I originally had approached this idea with respect to doing not necessarily a travel piece, however, a piece that involves travel exploration. So I was in the Caribbean one time doing some other research, and I was like, I need a setting other than the primary setting that I've established for this book, and it was in uh, the vague, concepts. The ideas were just written down, and I was doing a lot of brainstorming. So Ohio is one of the primary settings of the book, and I was thinking, okay, what could be a secondary setting just to invite a little bit more intrigue, and provide a little bit more with respect to that climatic tension, and then a dropping off point from that particular plateau, but having two particular. So the other setting is in the Caribbean in St. Martin. And when I was thinking about what could be a hook respecting getting readers' attention and maintaining a reader's attention, like, well, why don't I explore a furtherance of Ashley's identity and the second protagonist, her name is Deidre. She's a ABD. She's an all but her dissertation. She's an anthropology major. So she's commissioned. I have her being commissioned by some governmental institute. I'll leave it at that in the Caribbean to use her expertise and to do some exploration and some discovery with this case. She comes to a discovery about herself, some concepts of her identity, as well as Ashley comes through some discovery about concepts of her identity also. And I've introduced how Deidre traveled physically to the Caribbean. However, Ashley travels in time, not by way of a time machine, but she discovers a journal that was written by her great 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 grandmother that was tucked away and nobody knew about it except for two other family members. I let them bubble up and percolate, within. But the journal was discovered as being this piece of old furniture that's been kept in.
This is incredible. There's so many things to unpack here and so many pieces, and just I can see this web of, so many different things, and what a great novel, and something for everyone for sure. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today about you, your book, or the message behind the book?
Well, the message behind the book is multifaceted. Like I said, one of the concepts is it involves travel. It involves the duality of identity. What I mean by duality of identity is being in two places simultaneous. I mean, we all have our public place and our public face and our private face. However, this one is an extension thereof of discovering concepts about one's identity through a means of travel by way of reading about one's family in a journal. And then also, as I shared about Deidre being commissioned, solving that revolves around her level of academic expert, an anthropologist. So those sort of spider webs, and I like how you those sort of spider webs, those sort of um, web links, if you will, exist there. One of the things also, it involves aspects of settler colonialism also, is when Deidre, she herself, she's an African American, actually is a young white woman, one young white American woman, putatively. I want to keep that word in there. The readers will find out when they read the book. But as I said, Deidre, she is commissioned to involve a degree of her academic expertise within St. Martin, on the island of Saba, particularly. Ashley finds a journal, and then through that, makes a great discovery about herself. That doesn't necessarily have to do with settler colonialism. However, it does involve some of these imbricating factors like race and gender issues, particularly here in the United States. But it's a read for everybody because it is, like I said, two settings, one in Ohio in the United States and the other one in the Caribbean. And it talks about some of the islands in the Caribbean also. So the Rico's involved, Dominican Republic is involved. I tried to put something there that would intrigue everyone. There's a little bit of horror. There's a love story that's embedded within the book. Of course, there's aspects of friendship. There are more than 15 characters within the book also. So I hope I did a good job, and I hope the readers, read this and are like, oh my gosh, we want more. we want more.
I bet they will for sure.
And so much more that I'm into the 8th chapter right now of another novel that
I was about to ask you, when is the next one?
Yes, the next one is coming. The ideas have been bubbling forth. They're percolating up to the top. I'm into the 8th chapter of another novel that I'm working on. How I got worked on that was, there comes a point when I was working on Sanguine Threads, when I reached the end and my editors, they were like, okay, Malik, we're done. We can't put any more. We send this off. So, however, my ideas were still cooking up, and I still had that passion and being conditioned to write. So I was like, you know what? Let me just pivot. And I did a little brainstorming over a 2-week period, got some key concepts and characters down, fleshed out their development a little bit, and started into another novel. And I'm into the 8th chapter of such. With NaNoWriMo coming up, National Novel Writers Month, in November, I intend to not write 50,000 words. However, what I want to do is make a big chip into maybe finishing out chapter 8 and
That's incredible. And I'm so excited to see everything that's, coming together for you and everything that will be coming ahead. We want to let everyone know that this book is available everywhere online books are sold. It's available on Amazon, online at Barnes & Noble, Reader House, Apple Books. Pick up this book today. There is something in it for everyone. And it just sounds fascinating. And Malik, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. You are an absolute delight.
Thank you very much, Stacey, for having me. And that's a mutual compliment also. It's been a delight being interviewed by you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.